today to talk about tints and shades. And we're going to paint with every color of the rainbow. And speaking of rainbows, it might be a good idea for you to paint a rainbow someday. But for right now, we're going to talk about how we can change colors by using white and black. If we put white in a color, it's called a tint. And I wrote that down right here, tint, T-I-N-T. And if we add black to a color, we get a shade. So just think of like shadows and darkness, right? Or when you want to think about a tint, think of light and sunshine, maybe. But we're going to start with the primary colors, which are red, yellow, and blue. Those are the three first colors. And then we'll move to the other colors. So first of all, I've got my red. And I'm going to get my brush. I dip my brush in a little bit of water and then get the extra off by going like that on the side. And when you're painting, if you're not wearing old clothes, make sure you're wearing a smock or an apron, okay? So I'm going to just swirl around a little bit of red. A little bit of red. Going to wash my brush. I've got paper towels handy. Going to make sure it's pretty clean. And now I'm going to put some white on the red. See if you can guess what color we're going to get. Just close your eyes and imagine red swirled around with some white. I know it's one of your favorite colors. Or for some of you it's a favorite color. Look what happens. We get pink, right? We get pink. Okay, I'm cleaning my brush again. Now when we add black to get a shade, a darker shade of red, just a little tiny bit of black will do, right? Because black is so dark, it kind of overpowers the colors. So I'm gonna see how it really overpowers that color of red, right? So now we can have a full range of dark to light using white and black. So that's what happens to red. We get pink, and maybe you could say like burgundy, or what's another color for dark red? Maroon. And you know, one thing that I used to do with my kids when they were little, is when we were mixing colors and my children were small like you, I said, let's think of rhyming words for all the colors. And we would get so silly. We'd think red, head, bed, lead. And then we got to purple, and we were like, purple? What rhymes with purple? And then we were making up silly words like dirple and all kinds of things. But anyway, work on your rhyming, okay? Painting is important, but reading is important too, and learning new words. Make sure you're doing that. Next, we're going to work with blue. I'm going to swirl around a little bit of blue. I like circles. A little bit of blue. Clean my brush. Now, I like to think of a blue sky when I'm adding white to blue. You see? It gets to be that nice light blue like a sky. So if you wanted to, you add add white to your blue to get a sky color. I'm gonna dip in the black. Remember, I put so much black. See how it just overpowered that blue? But you can see here up at the top where there's less black, and down here it's not quite as black, right? So a little bit of black goes a long way. Try not to use too much black if you want a shade of blue. So now yellow. Yellow. Got some yellow in here. Nice. My water's getting pretty dirty, but I think it'll hold up for today. All right, oops. You add some white. It gets nice and lemony, right? I didn't add a whole lot of white because I wanted you to be able to see the color, but that's a tint of yellow right there. It's just a little lighter. So now, an interesting thing, when you add black to yellow, I think it turns a little bit greenish. It's kind of like a, I don't know, it's not green per se, but yeah, it kind of is, isn't it? Don't you kind of see that there's green in there? Isn't that strange how it alters that color? It's kind of interesting to me anyway. So if you were doing a picture of the forest and you wanted like a green that looked like that, you could mix a little black with your yellow. So those are the primaries when we add white and black to get our tints and our shades. I'm going to set this over here. We're going to work with our secondaries, but instead of trying to open these bags and get really messy, I've got secondaries in a container because I don't want to make too big of a mess. All right, so let's try the secondary color that we get by adding red and yellow, which is orange. And I've got some right here. Gonna dip in there, swirl around. We have all the colors to make a rainbow today, don't we? And you notice I'm washing my brush in between each dip into each jar, right? If we mixed them all together, we would get brown, which is a good color. I love brown, I love every color. But I want to keep my paints clean. So I'm adding a little white to the orange, and then I get this nice peachy color. Oh, so if you were making a still life, remember like we talked about last week with the grapes in a bowl, that's called a still life because they're just sitting still. If you wanted to do a still life with oranges and peaches, you could do your oranges with straight orange, and then you could do your peaches with a tint of orange where you've added white. But let's say you're doing a painting of fall colors and you want a rust color. I'm going to add a tint, a little bit of black to the orange. Trying to find some more orange, and I'll get like a rusty color, see? So then I could have dark leaves that have fallen from the tree on the ground. So that's kind of a rust color. Now we're going to work with green, and to get green we mixed our blue and yellow, right? But here I have it pre-poured in a container to make it easy. Swirl it around. Oh, that's kind of fun. Trying to put a lot down there so I have enough to work with. Okay. Clean my brush. Oh, speaking of brown, look at what's happening because every color is in there. So now I'm getting brown water, right? Okay. Gonna get a little bit of white to get my tint of green. That reminds me of minty color. It's a minty color. That reminds me of springtime. So that might be a good color to use if you. Now, mint green, you know, reminds me of not only springtime, but it reminds me of fresh food too. So remember we talked about how colors give a feeling of something, right? We want to consider using certain colors for certain pictures. So I'm going to try not to add too much of the black. Let me get some of it off the brush. There we go. Look at that forest green. Oh, that would be a good color for evergreen trees. I like it. I like it. All right, so now we have one last color that we're going to work with, and it's a secondary color that I know so many of you love, purple. And we get purple by mixing red and blue. So here we go. Got a lot of purple there. I'm going to clean my brush. One more color to work with here. And you notice after I swish it around in the water, I'm wiping it with the paper towel. Okay, now we're getting it white. Oh, there's that lavender color or like lilac. Isn't that so pretty? And that's how we get it with paint. Now, when you're working with other things like crayons, if you put white on top of a purple crayon, you'll probably get a lighter purple. You'll get this like lavender color too, but it's a little trickier with crayons. You have to work a little harder. I'm going to put a little black so we can get our shade of dark purple. And there you have it. See? And there's the secondary colors, orange, green, and purple, with their tints and their shades. And I hope you enjoyed learning about turning your colors to lighter colors and darker colors, and I hope you will make a beautiful picture using white and black mixed with different colors. And next week we're going to talk about an artist, Henri Matisse, and you might have heard of him. So I look forward to it, and I miss you all so much. Enjoy your week, and I'll see you next time. Kisses and hugs.